yeah. This one's gonna be a hard one to make. What's going on, guys? Today's video is gonna be more of a serious video. As you can tell by the title, I was very hesitant on making this video for a few reasons. One, I didn't want people to think I was being hella extra or being hella dramatic about what happened. And two, I didn't want people to think that I was crying out for attention or crying out for pity. As people who know me know that I'm not that kind of person. When I make serious videos or serious posts, there's always a meaning behind it, whether it's to inspire somebody or to send a message. Now, obviously, I decided to post it for reasons that will be discussed later in this video. Without further ado, let's get started. So on Saturday, July 22nd, I was on my way home from work. I was in my car and I was driving home. It was around 7 o'clock when I was struck by an asthma attack. Now, people that don't know me, I suffer from chronic asthma, and unlike most people I know that grew out of it, I never did. I was born with it, and it's still with me today, and it's something that I deal with every single day of my life. With that being said, I have been in and out of ERs and hospitals throughout my life. Like, asthma attacks have become the norm for me now. When I get an asthma attack, I know what to do, I know how to act, and I take all the necessary precautions and stuff like that. So it's very common, you know what I mean? Like, it's serious, but I don't really take it serious because it happens so much, you know what I'm saying? It's something normal. Even when my friends and family worry about me, I tell them, don't worry about it, I'm good. I'm gonna go to the ER, they're gonna treat me for about a couple hours, and I'll be back home, I'll be fine. But this one was more different than the rest. Like I said, I was on my way home from work, I just got off BART, I was in my car, and I was driving home, and this was around 7 p.m. Now, I've been up since 4 a.m. because my shift started early in the morning. I work in the city, which is an hour away from where I live. And from that time, from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m., I was completely fine. I was 100% healthy. Nothing was wrong. I was just in my car. I was jamming to the radio. I was thinking about what I'm going to do when I get home, like what I'm going to eat or what video game I'm going to play, and just rest up. And then all of a sudden, like, I coughed a little bit. Like, it's like a sudden little cough, and it put a little stress on my chest. So I bust out my inhaler, and I puffed it, I inhaled, I exhaled, and then when I tried to inhale again, I couldn't. Like, literally, I couldn't. It went from breathing to I was like, alright, what the hell's going on? Let me just wait for the albuterol to kick in. And as I'm driving, it started to get worse. Usually when I get an asthma attack, it like builds up. Like, I kind of can't breathe, then I can't breathe, then I really can't breathe. But then this time, it was like sudden. Like, I went from breathing normally to, and it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It was like 0 to 100 real quick. The best way for me to explain it is like a gunshot. I've never been shot, but it's like, it's that sudden. That's how suddenly it hit me. So I was thinking, I was like, alright, well, just go home. Like, your stronger medicines at home, that's probably what you need. Just rush home, get that, you'll be fine. But as I'm like driving more, it started to get worse. Like, now it was just like, and I was like, okay, this is not normal. Let's go to the hospital, right? Now, I've driven myself to the hospital for asthma attacks before, meaning I've driven while having an asthma attack, so it wasn't really nothing new to me either. So I took my exit and I'm driving to the hospital, and it got worse. Like, this time I was not taking in air, right? And now I was panicking, right? Because I was like 10 minutes away from the hospital and I couldn't take in air anymore. It got to the point where I was thinking maybe I should pull over and call 911, but then I thought, no, that's probably a bad idea, because if I do, what if they don't get to me in time? What if I pass out on the curb and no one knows what the fuck's going on? They just see a kid pass out on the curb. But then I also thought, what if I pass out while driving and then my car crashes and I die that way? People are going to think I died because of a car crash, not because of an asthma attack. So I was like trying to decide what to do, plus I'm panicking, plus I couldn't breathe, so it's like a cumulative shit that was going on in my head. So I just kind of remained calm, and I was like, alright, we'll just get to the hospital. Something in my head was telling me, just keep driving, get to that hospital. You're like, it's one straight road, you're like 8 minutes away, just keep driving, go as fast as you can. Now, mind you, there was red lights along the way, and had to stop at a few, and every time I stopped at one, I was like, this is it, I'm not gonna make it to this hospital. Eventually I did. I got to the hospital, and I parked right in front of the emergency room. I stumbled out of my car, and I stumbled inside the waiting room, and I collapsed on the desk, and all I said was, I can't breathe. Boom, collapsed on the floor. I felt nurses pick me up and put me on a wheelchair, and by this time I was like in and out. Like, I was blacking out and then I was waking up, and like, so my vision was like in and out, and I just see like rooms, people. They wheeled me into the emergency room, they put me on the bed, they stripped me down of all my clothing, and I felt the fat ventilator mask on me. It was like huge, it took my whole face. They put IVs in me and everything. And I'm looking around, I just see all these nurses, and I hear all the beeping, and I hear all them clamoring around and stuff like that. And as I'm like looking around, like again, I was struggling for air, so I was just like, just looking around everyone, like, and nothing was getting better. The mask wasn't helping. I was not getting oxygen. I could feel my chest tightening. And as all that was happening, I just saw all the nurses and all the noise slowly fade out and fade away. Like everything was getting black. Everything was getting dark. It was like clear, then it was blurry until finally my eyes just closed and I was alone with my own thoughts. I really could not hear anything besides my own thoughts. And the only thing going through my head was, this is what death is. I think this is what death feels like. It's not, I didn't see no white light at the end of the tunnel. My life didn't flash before my eyes, none of that. It was just kind of, I felt myself not being able to breathe, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is it. This is what death feels like. It's just an endless sleep. And as I was thinking like that, my own thoughts started fading away. You know when, like, you have a brain fart and you're saying a sentence and you can't think of that last word? Picture that, but every word is disappearing. Pretty soon I couldn't even think to myself. That's when I started convincing myself, like, this is it. I'm not making it out of this one. It's kind of hard to explain, like, in words what I was feeling at that time. It was kind of like a feeling of peace, like, it's fine, it's okay, like, you've lived a good life. But it's also like, this is how it's gonna end. Like, I'm not gonna make it. Like, this is how everything just comes to an abrupt end. When I came to that moment where it's like, you know what, you can't breathe. You're not. What they're doing is not helping. Something in my head told me, just let it happen, bro. Like, you can't fight it. Just let go and let it happen. And right when I was about to, I felt a little bit of air get in my chest, and it got a little bit easier to breathe. Then it got more easy to breathe. Then it got a little bit more easy to breathe until I could start forming thoughts again. I could start hearing myself. And then I heard noise coming back, right? You know when you have a nightmare and you know you're having a nightmare and you tell yourself, wake up? I did that to myself. When I started being able to form thoughts in my head, I said, hey, you're getting better. Wake up. Like, pop out of this right now. And just like that, just as sudden as it happened, I woke up. And my eyes bursted open and I woke up and I looked down. Now when I woke up, I saw them about to intubate me. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's when they pop a tube right down your throat and it goes all the way down and it helps you breathe. I had that done to me when I was a little child, but I've never had it done to me when I was, as an adult. And I woke up right when they're about to pop it in, right? I guess they were about to, like, put a hole in here too, and none of that happened, so thank God I woke up when I did, because it could have been way worse. Now, I still thought I was dead. I thought I was having an out-of-body experience. I thought I was going to float up and see the room like everyone talks about. So I was looking around, I see all the nurses looking at me, and like I hear the noise. To help myself decipher whether I was dead or not, I started reaching out to people, trying to grab people. And I reached to this one nurse, shout out to Joseph. He saw my hand and he grabbed my hand. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, you're okay now, stay with us. You're fine, you're going to be fine. And that's how I knew I was alive, I wasn't dead. So eventually it got, I stabilized. When I was laying in that bed, when I was still hooked up to all the machines, and I was thinking, like, there's no way I just survived all that. I don't know how. Like, I've had countless asthma attacks before, and I've survived a lot of other stuff. But I've never been so shook from those that I was at that moment. I was just in a moment of disbelief. Like, how did all that happen? I'm pretty sure, actually I'm very sure, I should not have survived on Saturday. From all the stuff that happened, from the asthma attack happening in my car, to me driving all the way to the hospital, to me collapsing in the waiting room, to the stuff that happened in the emergency room, I don't really think I should have survived all of that. When I look at it from a third party, that was a lot of stuff to happen to one person, and for me to buck up and drive myself to the emergency room. When the nurses found out that I drove myself to the hospital, because they asked me, they go, who took you here? I said myself. They go, you drove here? And I was like, yeah. They go, why didn't you call 911? And I was like, because I was on my way home already. I was in the middle of the road and it happened. And one nurse was like, wow, you're a very strong person. Like, we've never seen that before. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how I did it either. Now people are asking, like, how are you feeling? Physically, I'm fine, as you can tell. Perfectly fine now. Mentally, I'll be honest with you guys, like, I'm still kind of shook. I'm still kind of mentally fucked up right now because it's hard to explain when all that stuff was happening, when everything was black and I just felt everything fading away at that moment. When I came to terms with this is it and this is when I die, it was kind of, like I said, it was a moment of like peace versus a moment of not this way. Because I think that out of all of that, the scariest part of all of that was knowing that nobody knew where I was at. The last my mom heard from me was I texted her saying I'm at work. I planned a few breakfasts and lunches with a few friends later on in the week. And my other set of friends, I told them I'm on my way home from work, I'm going to change and I'm going to come over because we're all supposed to hang out that day. So everyone thought I was fine. And I was Snapchatting and Instagram storing that I was on BART, I was messing around on BART, doing whatever. And that's the last everyone heard from me. I was like, if I die right now, nobody knows. Nurses or doctors are going to have to give that phone call to my family. And they're going to find out. And then they're going to tell my friends. And everyone's going to be like, dude, we were just talking to them. Like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? And it was scary because that felt lonely. In my last moments of life, nobody that I love is around me. Which was probably the scariest part of it all. Now, why am I sharing this video? Like I said, when I was sitting in that emergency room, when I was laying there, just going over everything that just happened, trying to get my mind right, a lot of stuff was rushing through my mind. My biggest fear in life, ever, is being on my deathbed when I'm older or whatever, but being in my deathbed and regretting the stuff I didn't do that I wanted to do, and not taking the risks that I should have took, or not taking opportunities that I should have took, and not accomplishing what I promised myself I would accomplish, and not taking my skills and my assets to a higher level. Now, despite that being my biggest fear, ironically, I don't really push myself to make sure that doesn't happen. What I want to do in life, what I want to accomplish in life, is use my skills and use my talents to inspire people, to help people, and ultimately just make people happy while making myself happy, doing what I love. And I love doing a lot of stuff. I have a lot of hobbies. I dance, I draw, I do poetry sometimes, I do stand-up comedy sometimes, a lot of stuff. Although I have a lot of stuff, I never really push myself to take those to a higher level because I never thought it was good enough. I see a lot of people doing big stuff with their things, and I never really thought I could match up to that level. Like, I know on some non-egotistical shit, like, I know I'm pretty good at the stuff I do, but like I said, I never thought it was good enough to make something big out of it. Now, I'm blessed with, like, the best people in my life, my family, my friends. I don't have any quarrels with anybody, I don't have any beef with anybody, and when people talk about having haters, I can't relate because everyone in my life has been so supportive of me, no matter what I was doing. Whether I was, doing artwork for people, whether I was dancing on stage, performing, either poetry, stand-up comedy, people would come to my shows and they'd support me, they'd spread the word, and no one has ever told me I can't do anything. They were always hyping me up. They were always like, dude, you could do it, like, you're so good, you should take it further. The one person who never believed in me was myself. And when you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. That's the reason I never pushed myself, because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my own skills. I didn't think it was good enough to make a difference or that people would take it seriously. I always struggled with putting myself out there and advertising my own self. Even though I had countless people hyping me up, or they would shout me out, or they'd put myself out there for me and they, hey, check this guy out. And they always ask me, how come, like, you don't really do it? Like, you put yourself out there, but you don't really put yourself out there? It's because that low self-esteem that I had. It was weird. Despite the stuff that people were telling me, despite how much they were praising me or hyping me up, when it came to myself, I was the one doubting myself. And it was, I don't know, it was weird. Laying in that bed, I thought, my worst fear almost became reality. Like, I was close to death, and I didn't accomplish anything that I told myself I wanted to accomplish. Yes, like I said, when I felt like I was about to die, I was kind of at peace because I lived a good life. And don't get me wrong, I live a very good life, guys. Like, I'm surrounded with the best people. I live in a good house. I have a great job. You know, I make good money. And I go on vacations all the time with my friends. And life is good. Life is very great. But as a person, as myself, I haven't accomplished what I wanted to do, you know? And I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know what I want to, like, I don't have like a specific job that I want to do. All I know is I want to make people happy. I want to be known and respected. I felt like if I die right now, I never accomplished that. So then I told myself, you know, you had another chance in life. I had another wake-up call, but this is way much more deeper than the other wake-up calls I had because I really felt like I was going to die at that moment. So I told myself, like, look, you have another chance at life again, you know. God blessed you with a second chance. Not even a second chance. He blessed you like a 10th chance. So if you don't make something out of yourself, if you don't push yourself, then what the hell are you living for? So the reason I decided to make this video and release it is because if I didn't, I would have went against everything I just preached about. I would have went against everything that I thought of when I was laying in that emergency room. I would have contradicted my own morals. I would have contradicted myself, and that would have been way worse than anything, you know? So what does this mean to you? What is my message to you? Is I know a lot of people out there probably found themselves in the same predicament where they doubt themselves and they think that they're not really good enough to accomplish anything, or they feel like their skills aren't that great. This is going to sound really cliche to say, but life is short and we don't really know when it's going to end. So I would say if you have something planned that you want to do, then do it. Who cares what anybody says? Who cares what anybody thinks? You know, it's your life, and live your life how you want to live it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then do what makes you happy. You know, make yourself happy above all else. Try to make other people happy, and take those chances, take those risks, take those opportunities, because who knows when you can get those chances again. You know, I see a lot of people out there who want to make videos, or they want to write skits, or they want to write a book, and they want to do all this other stuff, but then they think that it's not going to be good enough, that people aren't going to like it. But I say, do it anyways. And if they don't like it, then they don't like it. But what happens if they do like it? You know, you could make something out of it. So because of that realization that I had, you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff coming out from my end. Wow, that sounded really weird. What I meant to say is because of that realization, you're going to see a lot of more work coming out from me. There you go. That sounded a lot better. As far as artwork is concerned, I'm going to be making more videos that I want to make. I have a bunch of video ideas that have been on the back burner that I'm going to push myself to make now. You're going to see a lot more product from me, basically. I'm going to try to teach myself to put myself out there more to the world, I guess. It's going to be a struggle, like I said. It's really hard for me to do, but I'm going to do it anyways, because I don't want that feeling of regret ever to come in my mind ever again. So that being said, if you guys have reached this part of the video, thank you so much for sticking through. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to my story. I really do appreciate you guys. For everyone that's been hitting me up via phone call or texting or messaging me on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, checking in on me and asking if I'm okay, if I'm feeling better, thank you guys really so much. I really love every single one of you guys. I don't know what I would do without any of you guys. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you. Thank you for fulfilling my life. Thank you for making my heart happy. Thank you for just making my life what it is. Thank you again for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button, because like I said, you'll be seeing a lot much more work coming out. And thank you. I will see you guys later. Peace out.
Goodbye.